I'll take care of that. That's called feedback.
It is a lot of it too.
Live on YouTube. You straighten that out.
What's going on? What's going on? YouTube Outlaws. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Saturday night edition. What's going on, y'all? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So y'all come on in, pull up a seat, turn the volume up, talk about some things as we attempt to solve all the problems of the world in the next 60 minutes or less, right? So before we get to that, the People's Network presents.
How y'all feeling out there? It's good to be with you this Saturday evening. The black man's brother, the culture teacher, hood healer, your holistic health and wellness coach. It's good to be with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shining Kevin, peace. Peace, my brother.
The People's Network presents Outlaw Radio. Welcome to the show. It is Outlaw Radio War Chest. Somebody do a sound check for me. My thing is acting stupid right now. I need to make sure we got all our can y'all hear us? Let us know if y'all can hear us, because mine ain't doing what it's supposed to. Okay. So welcome to the show, man. It's Outlaw Radio. Thank you for tuning in. We do this show live from the beautiful Chocolate City Studios in extravagant Northwest Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is what we do. I got my partners here with me. I'm the world-class smartass. I'm the Negro whisperer and all that, right? Like it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't have anything to do with the price of tea in China, right? So, but welcome to the show. I'm happy everybody's here. I'm happy my crew is here. Second show for 2020, right? About clarity. And we're going to get into that as we move along. But I always like to start off the show by doing shout outs. Shout outs to supporters of the show. Shout out to Black businesses that exist to, try to bring us back economically. If you got an idea, if you have a logo, if you have some vote, please don't hesitate to holler at me, man. Teamwork makes the dream work. We are entirely the sum of our parts. So shout out to Brother Dante Chestnut. Trying to get Twan Mack on here. Shout out to Aaron Brown.
Hit me up, man.
Shout out to the Next Level Vegans. Shout out to the Sherman.
Down there on 3rd and Center, that's what the second where you can find Nature's Natural Herbs and Supplements.
Okay.
Center Street Wellness.
Okay.
What up, Brother Dre?
Yes.
I see you, man.
Shout out to 3041 North. We hang the logo back behind us proudly. 414-810-3131. You can get with Mr. Terry. They just did their own wedding. So Miss Brown is now Mrs. Brown Terry married, and their wedding looked like.
Congratulations.
I'm glad I did, because you don't take a girl to a wedding like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't gonna be able to do that.
Right.
So unless you get
we got a vegan fest coming up in April. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets. You get your tickets early. Just come on down. You'll be able to get in anyway.
Yeah. Shout out to Soil Sister too.
Yeah.
And my fern is dying. I'm trying my best. Like my fern is in bad shape.
Man, it's hard.
I'm trying, man.
It's a process.
I get it. I'm trying. I'm trying very hard.
We get it.
Shout out to Ernest Walker. And by the way, we're simulcasting on our YouTube page as well. So please go and subscribe to our YouTube page, which is the People's Network.
Yep.
The People's Network, right?
Mm-hmm.
On YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
I share it on my timeline, Kevin Barnes. The show is shared on Brother Talks, Talk to Teach, Listen to Learn. It's on his page. It's on my brother, Kamar Carter. It's on all of his pages. What's your group name, bro?
Oh, yeah, you go to Healthy Self, Heal Thyself.
Yes.
On Facebook, Nature's Natural Herbs and Supplements on Facebook.
But one wrinkle of the show is that it is live now and interactive, right? So we've implemented a phone line, 414-231-9982. 414-231-9982. Feel free to comment. Feel free to it, right? So I feel that way. But it's like I said, we just Gen Xer. I grew up watching how we would have flying cars and all this kind of shit, right? But none of this shit. That's not it, right?
None of that,
right? So it just goes to show you that everything they told you was a lie.
Wait. Well, why aren't there though?
Rouse,
V, man. Shout out to Rouse, man. Get that kickball league popping and do that business with us. But you asked me a question though, right?
Yes.
You said why?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just that people that was like optimistic. First of all, it was a cartoon. It was just such deep strides that I think people were that optimistic, but I always say that is via Roswell and alien invasion. You don't want to get me going on that.
Well,
because I started talking about little
I
girls.
was making a reason why I asked you that is because I don't think we don't have the technology for that, right? We have things that aren't implemented there, cars that run on water and you know.
Yeah, Tesla and all that, right?
So they got all of these things, but why aren't they commonplace, right? So now you're talking about politics, and you're talking about somebody holding back or hoarding technology. So I think that it could be that way if we didn't have the people leading us that we have.
We do got a lot of things though that's out now that wasn't out then. Like,
oh yeah,
that we use that's like every day.
Yeah,
cell phone.
Oh. Well, the internet has changed.
We had no clue about no cell phones. Walking around with a phone back
that
then.
does the things that it does. Though.
A computer in your hand all day.
A lot of people's lives are centered around their phone.
Yeah.
A motherfucker leave their phone at home, they'll run somebody over trying to get back to get it.
Like late for work.
Right.
They'd be late for work to go back and get that phone.
So is the phone smart or are you dumb? It's the question. Because I lived for a long time, we didn't have cell phones.
Right.
And society wasn't that fucked up.
You had to know a phone number.
Right.
You had to know some phone.
When you didn't have instant caller ID.
I had to page you.
Right. And you had to get out and call somebody back with a pager.
You had to pay phone.
Right? Right. That's why I love that Dave Chappelle when he says, you know, I remember a time when you actually didn't know who the fuck was calling you because you couldn't see their number.
Right.
You just said hello.
Right.
Right. Who was this?
Right. Right. So all kinds of new perspectives. I want to make sure we keep it moving with the show. But if you feel some kind of way about something, you just want to say it. Like you just want to get it off your chest. Maybe that's the segment, right? Get it off your chest. Right.
Right.
Just call in 414-231-9982. Now, I would like to say we did the 2020 vision thing, and I was kind of, you know, I'm dogmatic about this shit, right? I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit. So I was a little, you know, bullyish about the microphone. So my brother had some things that he wanted to discuss before we moved forward into the new year, right? So I want to make sure he gets an opportunity to really put that out here and, you know, pontificate on it. So
pontificate.
Right. Right.
What,
so
who, me?
no, you. It's him. You. You had your 20 things. Like I said, I wanted you to be able to get that out. So
I did.
The floor is yours. Well, whatever you got right now.
Well, no, you know what? Right now, like, you know, so we're talking about the war chest and whatnot. So
Okay.
I figured at some point you was going to end up, you know, telling us about this great Iranian war that we about to embark on, and
right,
and that's that sort of thing. So no, let me tell you, you know.
Since I got the mic, I ain't gonna hold y'all long. But look, go ahead.
No, that's it. You know, what you think about that?
Well, I'll tell you this. First of all, you have to understand that the difference between the Western and Eastern world has been and still is this. These are conflicts that are based on religious beliefs. You're talking about Islam versus Christianity. It's been it's never stopped. If you go back to the Great Crusades, in which English people said no, realized the Muslims knew the hood. So you got your ass whooped by Islam. You had to go back to where you was at in England. So I'm just saying, historically, that's that. But if you move it forward, it's about fossil fuels. Now, since we've had issues with the Middle East all the way back, our issues with the Middle East go all the way back. We've developed alternative sources. That's why we have electric cars. This is why these things are allowed to exist, because we know that that's a troubled patch of real estate, right? I'm gonna say the Iranian dude,
right,
who they blew up, right? So they came and blew him up with a drone with some missiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
They shot Martin Luther King from across the street. They killed Malcolm in Harlem.
In front of his wife.
They killed Huey P. Newton in Oakland. You understand? You see where I'm going? So they killed Fred Hampton in his bed in Chicago. Should I be upset because some Iranians lost a leader who may or may not be giving them the right message? I don't know. He's labeled a terrorist in the Western world. Our government has labeled him a terrorist. They've been on his ass for years just watching like we know where he is every day. Give us the word. Trump said, get it done.
There's a so it's certainly on talk to teach, listen and learn. It's on that page. Go check it out. But it's Brother Farrakhan explaining this to us in
2018.
In 20 right. So how they were going to destabilize. Was it 7 countries in 5 years or 5 countries in 7 years, something to that nature.
Right.
And they went all the way down to the last country, which I believe is Iran. Right. And aspect of it, but more to the fossil fuels that you spoke of. It's all about owning the resources and whatnot of that country. So basically, and know that there's no such thing as the Middle East. What we're talking about is Africa.
Right. Northern Africa.
We're talking about them coming over and controlling Africa. But if you notice, Africa been getting really friendly with the Chinese and the Russians lately.
Right, of course, you have to.
Right, and so
you over there with them.
Come on, right? So we not talking
right now. Even in our country, see, first of all, that in terms of religions, those are the 2 oldest traditional religions that we understand as a people. Like some people say, I'm a Buddhist, and I'm not. Well, in the United States of America, what they taught us, which is most of the time flawed, right? So there's always room for correction. But what they told us was you're either a Christian or because as a Christian, that means you're Lutheran, you're Episcopalian, you're Kojic, you Baptist, you sanctified. It's so many different divisions of what we like to refer as Christian/Catholicism.
And while that was used to control the lesser thinking, let's just say the unlearned, right?
Right.
The ones who was making the power didn't really give a damn about that.
Right. Well, but Islam stresses fundamental accountability. No, be good to your next man. If that man's doing you injustice, you have the right to defend yourself and hold that man accountable for what he. So it's always been kind of like a line. That's all. That's the only reason I referenced that.
Okay. Yeah, but that's that's what it was. It's not the real reason. It's the line that they give the people, right?
Well, yeah. Well, in America now, Trump don't give a shit what your religion is. Right. He wants.
You could go back. You go back far enough. It was like you say. It started off with the two religions, warring Christians and Muslims.
Yeah.
And it was about, okay, if we take over the world, we're gonna rule the world with this religion. So this way, if anything happens, we know what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Because we got control right here. We got mind control here. So it was in the beginning, I believe, to be a war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Over religion.
Fundamentally.
Exactly.
Right. But it's extended into big business because there is a global economy now. Like, see, if you don't understand that there's a global economy, that's why Trump's tariffs policies he has in regards to the terrorists, where you create labor wars, those wars affect the people on the front lines. So it's a war of attrition. So while he's banging over there, you depend on this. And now you got tariffs. You've driven costs. You've driven so many factors of what I do. You've driven it to the point where I can no longer do business. And a lot of white people who vote against their interests just because it's the Obama effect, you witnessed this. That's why you lost your farm. That's why you didn't know you was on welfare too, like the niggers who you talk about. You didn't know that free food. All that shit is socialism, which Republicans say they hate, right? Which, you got to understand, speaking politically, people, I don't like liberals. I don't like conservatives. You don't know what you're talking about most of the time because they don't even know what they're talking about.
They don't. They just go hop in a comfortable little box and call themselves something when it was probably so many fundamental differences that they actually have with that group if they would explore and ask the questions. You know what I mean? So you pro-life, but you for the death penalty.
Right. Do that make sense?
It's idiotic, right? And so
it's ass backwards.
Right. Some of that stuff is just very low vibrating thinking. It's not.
Yeah, man. So when I say war chest, see, if you look up the term, what is a war chest, right? Like, so, if you can see some conflict coming, if you got the 1,000-yard stare, you look out there and you see a lot of tension in the field. So a lot of tension, bad energy coming from that couch. You prepare accordingly. So I ask Black people, do you have a war chest? Do we collectively have a war chest? Having a war chest is basically having a contingency plan. What goes down when the shit go all bad? The unprepared person gets enslaved. We've already learned that. So
have we?
we've already experienced that. Good point.
Because
we've experienced it.
We're letting it happen again right now.
We've experienced it. I'm not gonna say we learned it. You're right. You're entirely correct. So when I say war chest, I ask black people, are you safe? Because if you're talking about, and I'm not paranoid, like I'm not breaking the glass, hitting the fire alarm. I'm saying you acted out in an aggressive fashion against Iran. There's a lot of Iranians in this country, a lot of which own fuel stations and stores where they sell fuels, coincidentally. Now, I know you got all kinds of systems set up, and I don't underestimate Uncle Sam at all, because he probably got one big-ass off switch where you can turn it off, right? But should we be worried? Should I be strapped up just in case Abdul and all of the things he's been able to do in the last 45 years in terms of educating his kids, empowering his nieces, strapped up as a black man, just in case y'all trip too? Because I'm already prepared for the Klan, but should I have something for them too?
As a black man, you already got to
But that was the purpose to get strapped up anyway in the first place. For anybody.
Right.
No matter who it is.
So, for us in this country, yeah, we still got the right. You know what I mean? Yeah. We should do that anyway.
And that's just one part of your war chest.
For sure.
Should you be learning how to grow your own food?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Should you really be stressing literacy to your children in terms of being able to read a compass, being able to understand how to survive without processed food?
How about knowing how to fast? Because it may be a while where you can't eat.
Right. You just got to get the necessary
survival. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some plants that you can eat that's very healthy too.
So I'm saying in my war chest, what am I putting in it? What am I putting in my, do you have one as a black person? Ask yourself, am I prepared for whatever? Because I'm not saying we're about to go to war, but I'm saying if there is war, it's going to be very complicated because we have such a strong Iranian influence in our communities. And you in the suburbs, you might think, ain't no fucking. Well, they got a gas station up there too, and that shit's holding metric tons of flammable fuels, right?
Boom.
If that's what the message is, if it comes down like jihad, should I be worried about that? You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to come off as xenophobic, right? Like I don't believe in xenophobia.
You're not scared of xenos.
I'm right. Well, it depends. I'm just saying.
Well, I think everybody first should develop a plan as a family.
Okay.
You know what I mean? What we gonna do, y'all?
You know what I'm saying?
We need to know what to do. Let the kids know this is where we going. This is what we gonna do.
I think the very first thing, and y'all help me if I'm mistaken, but we need to let the majority of our people understand that we are at war.
There is a war,
but our people don't understand.
War, but they don't understand that.
People don't understand
so
that.
So that's what I say. As a family first, you know what I mean. I'm gonna get my kids together first. And if y'all gonna listen to me out there, I'm gonna tell you what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're gonna listen, it's on you.
But that's the point, like, because we got we got whistleblowers out here.
Right.
We've been out here.
The things we are everybody. We all think we know everything.
But then we see on Black Friday, we see they doing the same damn thing. You know what I'm saying? We see on Christmas and we see on New Year's. We see when the chicken sandwich come out. We see and grinning and shuffling and going and doing the same thing.
And that's why you got to make sure your family first.
Election time,
family gonna listen to you first before everybody else.
Yeah. So
I would just like to say to people who think they shouldn't be involved in politics, I want to say this to them. The drone that dropped off that missile is probably about $700,000, and I'm probably shooting very low. The missile that it dropped is probably about another $700,000, $800,000. We're talking about $2 million. You know who's footing that bill? You are. When all your consumer actions, that's why I tell black people all the time, when y'all ready to deal with spending our money with them, let's take off. I'm not talking about a little bit. I'm talking about the money you spend at the corner store. I'm talking about money, period. We go to them for everything. Lights, gas, food. Whatever it is, there's a white man at the top of every chain that we financially feed. We bought those missiles. So I see black people on social media saying, oh, Arabs, it ain't us. It is us. Because we continuously feed the beast. The beast wouldn't be so fat if it wasn't for us. He's living very good off of us.
Anytime they say war about something, they got a blank check to write.
Right.
But those same people will tell you when it comes to feeding people, when it comes to clean water, when it comes to clean air.
Damn, we ain't got no money.
We ain't got no money. You see what I'm saying? And even when they're running for office, we figure out a way to
get the pipes right.
Come on, man.
We ain't got no money. But by the way, we got a train.
But when it's time to go to war, you've never heard them one time say they didn't have any money. They write checks for billions of dollars.
You ain't never heard Trump say, "This motherfucker lucky we broke, y'all, or we'll bomb the shit out of them tomorrow."
So yeah, we understand.
And it's one thing. See, 2020 is a political year. It's a year where we're gonna have some elections. We're gonna have some opportunities to oust some incumbents. To we can see. I know all of the incumbents aren't going to lose.
Schools, yeah,
but not just the incumbents. The people who are holding office, who the dysfunction has been years has been dysfunctional in our city. What's wrong, bro?
No, I was responding to something that was I spoke out loud. I was reading. Go ahead.
No, so I'm saying, so right now when you tell me it ain't enough money for human issues, it's not enough money to say nobody should be hungry. Listen, if you got $2 million to kill somebody overseas, first of all, just to travel over there, the postage to ship the missile over there, that shit's like 50, 75, 80. We talking $1.5 million. There shouldn't be homeless people in America. There shouldn't be unemployed people. Shit should be free. You should be able to say, I want to live over there. And there's somewhere you can go where they say, shit, go live over there. If you telling me you have missiles that are worth 3 times what the average man in his life would ever make. You have $1 million arms.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bunker buster. That's like $2-3 million. That's for a bomb you probably ain't gonna never use. Because it's too much. You're doing too much. You drop that shit, it's like, oh, come on, man.
Well, they want to tell you, then they'll tell you it's a deterrent.
Right. For what?
We have to so nobody else won't fuck with us, right? Because this stuff is dependent upon our freedoms, right? Listen, I get so controversial because I understand that there's the underwriting theme or overriding theme that we need to support our troops and so on and so forth. And we got some brothers and sisters, man, and then gave their lives to the military, and
shout out to them too.
In more than one way, and more often than not, they went because they wanted to go to college or they wanted to get some sort of grant or some sort of
need some structure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's fed to the people about that. We need this, and because you're out and protecting our freedoms. Nobody's threatening our freedoms.
Right.
What happened was they used you to go infringe on somebody else's freedoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get the whole theme that we should be proud of you, and because I believe you thought you probably were doing the right thing. But if you go back and research, you weren't over there doing anything righteous. You was over there fighting to give these white people this oil or this land or this power or this gold or these diamonds. Real talk, you raped and murdered and killed more people. And then when I say you, I mean collectively as a unit, as a United States, military, you hurt and killed and murdered children and hurt more people than you did save. And you're not that bullshit about you fighting for our freedoms. Our freedoms are being taken away by the people here, not anybody over there.
Be all you can be. We do more before 9 o'clock than you do in a whole day. Right? We defend this planet.
Shout out to Sharita Shaw. See you, girl.
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am, I should say. The number is 414-231-9982.
I put the number in wrong too on here.
I know. See, I ain't the only one.
Somebody getting phone calls like, God damn it.
Right.
So
podcast.
Right. So when I say and see, because here's the conflict for me, because I understand the problems that exist in the Black community when it comes to guns and the lack of true gun control. I believe gun control is using both hands, but that's a whole different. A rifle with 75 bullets that can shoot 75 in 10 seconds. And my answer has always been because y'all got them.
Right. Why don't you ask the manufacturer, motherfucker?
Y'all got one.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't get one.
Ask the manufacturer why you make it.
Right.
I got one. I'm a customer.
Yeah,
right. PMD say you a customer.
Listen, crack pipes are illegal to have.
We know why people got guns, but the question is, why do the manufacturers make those?
It's the same thing.
If
If they're illegal to have, why ain't they illegal to sell?
Right.
Or make. Right. So again, you have lobbyists in the corporations to be able to get over on it, but lock the people up because that's
Right.
what the system runs on.
Because everything is punitive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you on your hand. See, this is one thing I said about black people because I had to look at our own codes because I knew there was something in our struggle that kind of steered us clear. And I realized, most black people you talk to, you'll say, "Well, how was growing up?" You say, "It was cool, but I got my ass beat a lot." Like the way I was taught life is, you fuck up, you get your ass beat. No, ain't no why, ain't no, no, lay your ass down. More often than not, our parents would even hit us with a belt or a switch or a extension cord, and it was just slavery because that's the way they taught their forefathers.
Right.
That's the way they taught us.
That's where that came
You want
from.
to teach a nigga something? Beat his ass.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we've led a traumatized existence. I had to look at it like, at first I thought it was a birthright because this is how we move, right? Like I said, give your ass like a birthright in the black family. Like, Big Mama hit me one time with an ashtray, and it's like a funny story now. That shit's not fun. Once again,
Right.
we are programmed that the way you teach us is by beating us. That's why that line in The Color Purple was so poignant. You told Harpo to beat me?
Mm-hmm.
I've been fighting. We laugh because it was
Just
Oprah Big
beat
Daddy.
her.
Retarded as shit. Like, you can't say retarded no more, Chase.
Retarded.
Don't say retarded.
I didn't say it.
I thought you said it. Maybe it was me. But I'm just saying. So now there's a complete deprogramming for people of color because now you understand, no, nobody has to beat you to show you the way. That's what they trying to teach you, how to be a human being by beating the shit out of you.
As if they knew.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's very uncomfortable.
They forgot we taught them.
Hello.
Well,
No,
You know what
it
I'm
was written
saying?
out of their history. They
Right,
didn't teach
exactly.
that in the 5th grade for them. So.
Right.
mankind has a very cruel nature, and it
Like how
exists.
you said it, mankind.
Yeah, but it's not. You're
Exactly.
right. Such thing as a bad black person or a bad white person. There's such thing as just bad people. And by it's just so happened that the majority of the baddest people I've seen have been white.
I disagree with that.
Okay, I think I've seen way more crazy ass white people. Who's the black Adolf Hitler?
Well, see, first of all, who told you what was bad, and who told you what was good?
My mom and my dad.
Well, who told them? Because ultimately, white people told you what the word bad means
Same
and
motherfucker
what
hit
the
you on
word
your
good
ass when
means.
he told you you've been
And
bad.
they told you that the good thing was for you to turn the other cheek and forgive, love your enemies and forgive them. That's what they
How
told
you
you.
get to heaven.
Well, yeah, okay. So they, first of all, let's understand, what I'm saying, where the shit come from, why they broke down and told you what was bad and what was good.
Hold on. No, the message for black people is this. Don't get me wrong. It's bad on this earth. And yeah, it's a lot of suffering, and I'm part of it. But see, the thing is, if you be good here, when you die, you gonna be straight.
Then you get to go to heaven.
But why you don't gotta be good here, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, you're not being good here. Why you not concerned
Right.
about hell?
Right.
Right?
And why would you want to see me again in heaven?
Stop.
And I say,
But we ate it
You don't
up.
like me now.
We still eat it up. And somebody mad right now at what we saying.
I can't. 2020 clarity, like this year, it just lines up. The stars line up. You have to understand. I'm not questioning your beliefs. I'm questioning how you were taught to get to your beliefs.
What you were taught.
Because you're saying to me, well, Kevin, if you punch me in my face right now and took all my shit, tomorrow I should say, hey, brother, it's all good. I love you. God gonna take care of you. And if that night I say, God, please forgive me, I'm straight. Now, that might happen to you 17 more times. And every time you're supposed to say, it's okay, I'm going home to live with my God.
7 times 77.
Why do I have to wait? Why do I have to allow, if I live 70 years, why do I have to live 70 years of subjugation? They say that's the sacrifice for eternal life. How high am I on the evolutionary scale? Like, I want to go back where I didn't have to live bad. Just let me live, right?
Consider the source. From the mouth of a liar, even the truth is in question.
Right. So, pack up your war chest, man. Start, like, knowledge-wise, logically. Our logic is crazy, right? Like, you got to start looking at shit logically. Mm-hmm. Hey, that shit, I don't know if you ever seen a movie. It was a movie with Roddy Piper and the brother who's in Dead President. I forget his name.
I know you're talking about with the glasses, right?
Us. What's it called? Us.
Yeah.
And
them or something.
he was
like
one
that.
of them, and he couldn't see. but you had to have these
You had
glasses
the
on.
glasses on, and you seen the signs, right? And even on the television shows, it was like buy this or obey the right. And real talk, don't sometimes you look at and don't you see that shit for real? Like that's what that sign means.
Well, sometimes do you look at it and say, should I put my glasses on?
I mean,
do I not have my
after a while
glasses?
you don't really need them, right? You really see that.
It's crazy, man. Crazy concept, man. And I think that's where we are. You know, some people.
I think that's part of being conscious, though, right? I think that's that's a certain level of understanding.
I posted something about that the other day. You know, as you raise your consciousness, you start to see and understand different signs, different things going on around you a lot better.
Yeah, but it also becomes troublesome because when you looking at it and saying, "I know what that shit is saying," and people around you like, "What you talking about? You tripping?
They'll fight you for it.
You're playing the race card."
Right.
Y'all, look, take these glasses and read this shit again. This is what I'm saying.
Wait, but do you remember what Roddy Piper had to do in that movie to get
the black man
to put the glasses on?
He had to fight.
Had to beat his ass.
They had to get down. They went to the alley. He said, "No, you're gonna put this shit on."
The brother was like, "No."
No, he was like,
I don't want it right, and that's some real shit, right?
Because he didn't think he had a problem.
Right.
He was like, "No, what are you talking about? What's wrong with you?"
Y'all have to look that movie.
And it's a great.
It's old as hell.
It's a great.
Because
cinematically, it's a great fight scene. Like after that fight scene, you was sore.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about no Avenger shit, like people flipping and wires. We talking about two big
was that Lou Gossett? Lou Gossett?
No, it's David Keith.
It was Keith. Okay.
David Keith. Yes, David Keith, man.
All right. Yeah,
great movie,
yeah,
man.
Go check that out.
Great
I
movie.
remember that, but it's ironic, man, because again, you get to a certain level of understanding. You see certain TV shows, you see billboards, and that you see that's what it means. It says something different. It's colored, you know what I mean? But that's what it means.
$3 million. The state of Illinois made $3 million in one day from the legalized selling of marijuana.
Overpriced.
Everybody bought $100 blunt.
Exactly. Or in some cases, $400, $300 blunts.
Right.
Listen, people of Illinois, I'm glad that you are happy to be able to do what you do without, the iron boot standing on your neck. Like, nah, I'm just smoking a blunt. Leave me alone. But if you go to those depositories and somebody put it up and said, y'all let these white people come in here and even add taxes to the weed. If two new dudes come in your hood and set up a weed house, y'all rob them and shoot them.
Right. So my question is this, right? Now that what that means is I'm going to do a little bit of research and get some seeds.
Yes.
And invest in it, and just like we talked about having our own garden.
Right. I think that probably
I wouldn't give them that.
I'm just guessing, but that probably be over.
But yeah, that's
I wouldn't see a problem with that.
But fuck giving them the money.
If I could have it growing.
I want to know this. If I'm sitting in my house and I got a half a pound of marijuana and you come in there and I got it, if I don't have a government stamp or if I don't have some kind of paperwork, is it then back the same way?
Because I don't want to take no part in the system like that.
Right. So I'm saying
make the shit that grows out of the ground applicable and able for me
all
to
that
grow it and get it.
Right. Well, he only got
I shouldn't just have to buy it.
You're right.
From them.
Right.
Because then, first of all, you got antitrust and monopoly law.
Well, stop regulating
so that's
plants.
unfair as well.
Stop regulating water. Stop regulating the earth. Stop, you know what I mean?
Stop regulating the
so
earth.
how did you come about controlling the world? If, like you said, if I found a little piece of land and I want to go over here and I want to farm and I want to use rainwater and I don't want to.
I should be able to do that.
But you can't. That's illegal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at some point or another, you have to pay to exist on this earth, on this planet, and for some reason or another, they control that, and we're okay with it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna, because okay,
it is.
Okay.
She said it earlier.
Okay, because she going too hard, and like she's just like I said, interactive. Of course, we got Millie Quinn. She going hard, so I gotta give. Ernest Walker, he said, "Spare the rod, spoil a child." Ass whoopings do work. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't. Right. I'm not saying they don't.
Well, they work to do what though, right?
Well, I'm not, because an ass whooping is a way to teach somebody something.
It's a way.
I don't know. See, like
I'm not the way.
I grew up this way. We bullied the bully, right? Like, so there's no such thing as a bully. The bully's gonna get whooped in our neighborhood. You the bully, somebody who you thought was nobody.
Or we gonna jump.
Something gonna happen to you.
Either way, you gonna stop that shit.
Right. So I'm saying, but That ass whooping taught him forever after that.
Mm-hmm.
He never fucked with you again.
Mm-hmm.
He never said nothing to you again. It's like somebody who just I'm ignore him. Every time I'm ignore him. And one day he caught me, bow! He never said shit else to you.
Right.
Right? Unless he came back for retaliation, but everybody ain't built like that. So I'm saying what my brother said, it teaches you what though? If I mess up, I deserve to be hit. So if I come in the house right now and I left a dish out and my wife just washed the dishes and she turned around and slapped the shit out of me like, what I tell you about leaving these goddamn dishes out? Now next time maybe I'll put the dish up.
So what if you're dating a young lady, right? And she called you one day and asked you, why you don't hit me? You don't love me? Right? And you a father, that's the lesson you wanted your daughter to learn?
Exactly.
So again, it taught you, but taught you what?
It taught you that sometimes life hurts.
Yeah.
That's all it taught you. It didn't teach you how to do right and wrong. Because here's the thing. I know a lot of brothers who got the shit beat out of them growing up that are still in the penitentiary to this day.
Yep. Me too.
And them ass whoopers ain't nothing for them because they're like, I've been getting beat up all my life.
I grew up getting my ass whooped. I wound up there.
I fucked up. It
happens, you know what I'm saying?
What you gonna do?
But I mean,
hit me? Right.
Our community's so fucked up growing up, you know what I'm saying? All the different pressures, all the different things to get into. You know what I'm saying? So you could be getting your ass whooped at home, but you're still curious when you get out. You're still growing up. You're still a teenager that feel like I know what I'm doing. I could get away with this. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about one thing as a young man, you get to the point where like I ain't even tripping on that ass whooping. It ain't gonna hurt me like that.
Right.
I was a football player.
I used to just think I wouldn't get caught.
I was a football player. Do you think somebody hitting me with a belt hurted after a while? Like I'm really like knocking people out and breaking people's legs and arms, and then my mother's like with a belt. I'm like, ouch.
You know, I grew up getting my ass whooped, but I think what got me the most was knowing that I let her die.
That was supposed to be the point.
That was the whole thing. That
so if you whooping your kid's ass and you're explaining to them why, but see, the first thing that I've learned as a parent is if you build the right foundation, you won't have to do that anyways. Right. Because they take daddy serious. They take because daddy been here.
My two kids, I never had to hit none of my kids. Listen, and if you don't believe that at all, you can be in a house where the kids is acting up upstairs. All you gotta do is say, "Hey,
what y'all doing up there?"
You gotta say that. Just say with that daddy voice.
Hey, what Kevin Hart used to say.
Don't it all stop?
I know you ain't playing with that toilet.
Right. With that listen, that bass in that voice don't tell me. I didn't see it.
Right.
You listen, you do it right. You
don't
whoop the kids will cry.
Yeah. If I talk loud enough, my daughter will cry. I'm right on the spot.
So don't tell me that, man. It makes a difference. And it is a way of education. It's a way of teaching. It's not really not the
My grandmother called me to tell on my daughter, right? And my daughter would get on the phone crying before I say anything.
Because disappointing. She
you know what I'm saying? That. Right. So
and what we doing?
Exactly. She know I ain't finna do nothing to her, but she balling. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm sorry, Daddy. But Daddy understand, because Daddy was a fuck up too.
Yeah, but you keep that quiet, right? They gotta find that out when they get old enough to look at pictures. And
hey, Sharita said ass whoopings and abuses is different.
Oh, I thought I turned this off, but we got to call her.
You turned it off. Okay.
I thought I turned the ringer off, okay? Because you said the ringtone sound gay, so I turned it off.
Well, no, that didn't sound gay.
You live on Outlaw Radio. Who this?
What up, man? Ernest Walker, man. Ernest Walker, man.
Hey, what up, brother? Peace.
What's going on, Ernest Walker?
Man, I'm here doing my best, man, to listen to y'all cats try to explain these ass whoopings and shit. Hey, man. My grandmama used to be washing dishes, Bernie Mac style, and slap me in the eye with the dish rag and your mouth.
Damn.
You ain't gotta beat nobody to death, but it gotta be some type of discipline because, like we say, hell, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? You teaching somebody the stove is hot when they're a kid. You know,
right?
They gonna learn themselves. That motherfucker.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Real talk.
You're supposed to learn. Dude, if I do this, I'm gonna be on punishment, or either I'm gonna get my fucking ass told to fuck up to shreds.
Right.
Well, you know the worst part about that is even like I love the example you just gave my brother, because the fact of the matter was, in my house, you did burn your hand, but then you got your ass whooped too, because you feel what I'm saying?
It hurt when you try to block the belt with the burnt hand.
No, it's double
Because I
double
told you not to
jeopardy.
fuck with that shit.
You got your ass whooped for one, playing with the stove, and then for burning yourself.
Right.
So you gonna teach me how not to burn myself by beating my ass with a belt?
I done learned when I
I
burned
was so
myself not to
confused
fuck with
about
this
justice.
motherfucker.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you understood quick.
Well, I understood to leave that damn stove alone.
That's why I love y'all niggas, man.
Peace,
I
peace,
listen
man.
to
We
all
love you
y'all.
too.
Y'all all got y'all own point of views, and I love it.
That's what's
that shit perfect, because you know what I'm saying? That's the way it's supposed to be, man. But yeah, I get you. You know, when I get bull, I get my man in the middle. I'm gonna get your name, man. You gotta holler at me again, but I ain't gonna forget no more.
Hey, brother, just call me brother. Talk, call me talk, man. Talk to teach, listen to learn, my guy.
No doubt, man. It's all gravy with you cats, man. But
Yes, sir.
man. Hey, that was, it was a tough thing, that would be answer with the ass and shit, you know what I'm saying? So we could behave and make sure we pick the cotton and shit.
For sure.
But we can't go to the extreme and say, well, nobody deserves their ass. Well, that's just like the white people putting their kids in the corner and time out. Hey, goddamn it, that's work.
Right? No,
they
sir.
still acting a fool.
Right.
So they want the motherfucking birthday cake cereals and shit all down the aisle and shit, crawling on their knees, holding your leg, and you don't do shit.
No, listen, it's some appropriate ass whooping.
Grow up and shoot the school.
There is a such thing as an appropriate ass whooping.
Hey, they grow up and shoot the school.
Yeah.
Understand, my brother. I'm not.
Maybe that could be.
See, this puts a lot of it puts a lot of pressure of accountability on us as black men. I blame us for the egregious situations involved with our homes, because as black men, we aren't there enough. Now, like I said, and I think all my brothers supported me on this, and I don't know if you got seeds or not, but I think you agree. If you're there and you're a man and you do what you're supposed to do, you find that you don't even have to whoop their ass. Like my brother said, my daughter right now, she's about to graduate from high school. And if I just raise my voice, oh, Dad, don't let me say one cuss word. If I say this some bullshit, she go.
Right.
That wasn't established by me beating the hell out of her.
But what you don't do is go grab your son while he fighting for himself, like a couple years ago. How they got that sister grabbed her son
and beat his ass in front of everybody else.
In front of everybody.
Now you got to kill somebody to get his respect back.
You know what I'm saying? Now that's what you don't do.
So I mean, I guess my point is, I'm interested in a total reprogramming of black people, period, in which we just get away from everything they taught us. Because ass whoopings, they didn't teach us much, but they taught us how to beat the shit out of something. And we put that on our kids. We put it on each other. Right now, if I get into an argument with a dude in the club, you know what the first thing I'm going to say to him is, man, it is what it is. I beat your motherfucking ass, dog. Because in my mind, I'm going to teach him not to fuck with me again. What I'm really teaching him is, you can't fight me, so go get your gun and come back and shoot me or accidentally hit somebody else. You see how it extends? The dysfunction extends.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the president doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Hey, my gun bigger than yours. I'm mad because I'm sick of people calling me orange and whatever the fuck they don't call me and shit. And he's pissed off because he know he's losing. He impeached. He doing the same thing that he said that Barack Obama was
going to do.
The war, to, you know what I'm saying, to make it seem like he was a hero.
He showed his hand, right?
He way too egotistical to be the president.
Yeah. He showed his hand, bro.
Ego.
Nah, you're right, man. You're right. I mean, America's long been globally. America's been the bully. We talking about being a superpower. Like this is all classified as well. America wears the belt. Like we are a bully. Obama. See, people who are mad at what Trump did today are hypocrites, because you wasn't mad when Obama
did the same thing.
Used the drones, and Obama did it colder because Obama bombed a wedding. There was 23 children there. 23 children. He did it.
But that nigga came home and sung some Al Green to
and
you.
Black people said it's all good.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not a Republican at all. I'm just telling my people, always research the researcher and question where it's coming from. It's like if you meet a fine chick, don't be blind because she fine. Think about what she said to you. You understand what I'm saying?
And look, and there's some nigga out there that's sick of her shit, right?
Right.
That was on Obama's watch. They killed Gaddafi because Gaddafi had about 8 other African leaders that was going to use the currency as
and eliminate the dollar.
And
Yeah.
That's the only thing they got.
Gaddafi was also very
Got in
cold
the
on the
military.
people who opposed him too. Gaddafi was also a murderer of thousands of people in his own country, his own people, because they were against his agenda.
Why do you use the word murder? Right? No,
They rounded him up and killed him.
Okay, so there's a difference between when you kill something, right? Have you ever called a hunter a murderer? Right? He went out and
Depending on what he hunt.
What he hunt?
If he hunt people, he's a fucking murderer. If he hunt squirrels,
So
he's a hunter.
anytime somebody kills a man, he's a murderer.
I would think so.
So according to you, then God is a murderer, because to our understanding, what we've been taught, right, and growing up, God killed a lot of people in the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So according to that, you say God is a murderer.
Well, I wouldn't say God is a murderer because we've agreed on this show that God is not a human. So to call him a murderer would be to give him a humanistic quality. It's energy, and energy. There's murder, and there's some murderous energy.
He committed murder. God committed murder.
People died,
so God committed murder.
He wasn't there. He didn't shoot.
Say in that story.
So first,
how about that? In that story, God committed
first of
murder.
all, what I want you. First of all, I want you to understand in the dictionary the word killing, right? To kill somebody, take somebody's life, and the word murder is two different things.
I want to look. Hey, Ernest, you know, dude, man, I'm gonna get you. I'm in the mood. We're about to get these hoodies made. I'm gonna get you a hoodie, or you tell me which one would you prefer, a hoodie or a t-shirt?
No, I'm good with the hoodie, man, all day.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm about to get these Outlaw Radio hoodies done.
Radio.
I'm trying to actually update my logo because we've been using it for a while. But either way, I'm gonna make sure you get a hoodie, and because Aaron done asked me for one. He wants the stickers. He wanted me to send a package. He been saying that for a long time. So I'm gonna make sure you get yours too, man. We're gonna make this happen expeditiously.
Yeah. Whatever I gotta send y'all to support y'all, I got y'all too. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no thing. So you know, shit, whatever it comes, I got you.
That's what's up.
Teamwork make the dream work, man.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Much love.
Peace.
I'll let y'all catch, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all do.
Yes,
My
sir.
brother.
For sure. So, hey, look,
Outlaw.
what's up with Tavis Smiley, man? You know, and
He ain't smiling so much.
Wait. Now, because see, the conspiracy theory is popping off, right?
Oh.
The conspiracy theory is popping off.
What's going on?
Well, that's my sister. Because people say, what's up with the hoodies? How much are the hoodies? Well, shut up, Jason.
Shut up. Tell them. Answer the question, man. Ask your question.
We'll talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. We got a whole thing, man, with our logos and all this. And shout out to Ascot Jones, my cousin designed the Outlaw Radio logo. I just spoke with him a couple days ago, and he said, "Bro," I said, "Cuz, you know, he said, man, say no more." So he's already on the week. We try to update things. If y'all like this logo, we'll have them both up. If you want this one or the new one, we're gonna do the hoodies for y'all. And I'll tell y'all how much they cost. I don't even know because I haven't gotten one made. Like I got the ones made for us, the t-shirts, and I know how much I paid, but to mass produce them, I haven't done the research. So, you know.
Let me tell you, he would rather give them away. He's such a good guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not greedy, right? But he don't understand that in order to advance this thing, right? He's going to, but he likes to give stuff away. He don't like to ask for money and stuff like that. So, you know.
Well, we'll get it done. We'll get it done.
Somebody with a business degree, you know,
Just call it.
My master's degree is actually in business.
You got your master's in business.
I got it, yeah. Management.
Old textbooks laying around.
Organizational management.
Just go over.
I spit this to you all the time. No, I brought up Tavis.
I want you to spit it to them. Don't spit it to me.
I brought up Tavis because the cancel culture and the Me Too movement, I thought, recognized now. Because now you have women who may have encountered a sexual experience with you years ago, and you're a person of power, and maybe it ended up in their favor, or maybe it did. Maybe they said, I don't like how he did me. So they can now come back and sue you or put some kind of charges against you retroactively. So we see now Tavis Smiley, he's talking nasty. They didn't say Tavis raped nobody. They just said Tavis was nasty. See, I'm not against that. Like, I think men and women like you, she say, no, Kev, I ain't with that.
That's why.
It's just like, man, you could literally just be trying to holler.
Like, we could be sniffing their socks.
I would see everybody's panties and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And see, to me, that's a business deal. Like, that's networking. I don't think If you don't make it, then you shouldn't be able to come back at me 10 years later and say, well, he asked me for some ass one time.
Right.
Well, I thought men were supposed to pursue women.
Right. Maybe that's how you shoot your shot.
But that's his game. He got money. He's a square.
Hey, baby, how you doing? Buy some draws.
I mean, you know, it's Victoria's Secret draws, though. Them ain't regular draws. He just say, just pull over at Walmart. I'll get you some granny panties. He said, take you to Victoria's Secret. I mean, listen, to violate a woman is wrong no matter how you put it.
Right.
I'm saying shoot your shot. If she doesn't respond to it in kind, abandon ship. It's that simple. No, don't keep going. Now, if you shoot and you miss and you come back, because sometimes this happens. You shoot, you miss, and then she give you some, like, well, do it the right way, and you can get it popping. So you get a second chance. But if the second time you come with even some worse shit, like, oh, I'm just playing. Let me smell your socks. Nah, leave her alone, bro. Leave her alone.
Dog, you nasty.
Nah, so we got Tabitha Smiley, Dame Dash, and 2 women. One got debunked. There's another one now, and it's all about the lawsuits that they're putting in. $50 million, $100 million.
Oh.
You trying to ruin brothers for years? Like, my kids will be owing you. Trey Songz just got one, right? Like, so it's like, oh man. So it ain't like the old days. See, I'm a cowboy from the 90s. So you in the club, we off that fluid, the music's pumping, the mood's right. You, hey, what's that, girl? Woo. Whatever, you know, ain't nobody saying in 1995.
We had game back then, though. It didn't call for all no, you know what I mean, no extra shit. We just talk. Hey, how
you don't think Russell Simmons had game when he had millions and chicks the chicks he was messing with, and you hear the conversations amongst the cats who was actually in that industry that had that status, and Russell saying, "Dog, you know who accusing me?" And they all like, "Yeah, she was," like, you know,
right.
But it's like, but Russ. she talking about you
right now.
Right. So it's like, you shouldn't have did thing with the thumb. Like, it was like I told you about shit. So I'm just saying, do y'all think that's weaponized now? Do you think sisters need to? How do we go? Because you don't want to ever encourage a environment where it's anti-woman, it's hostile to women. Like, it should never be cool for men to violate women.
Never.
But at the same time, women shouldn't be able to legally manipulate me just because I asked for some booty.
Right.
You didn't give me. Ask her what color her panties was. Like, yeah, I might have.
A lot of time is women that didn't make it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't ever hear about no big superstar Angela Bassett talking about so-and-so did this to me.
Okay.
You don't hear about nobody that's really popping. You know what I'm saying? Talk that.
Okay.
But you hear the ones who really did make it. So it leaves one to wonder, like, okay, well, is this just out of spite now? And that's what it seems to look like with all, yeah.
Shout out to Ernest Walker, man. I see you, man. That should have been a DM, but I appreciate the love, man. It just goes to show that, you know, we ain't doing this for a season. We doing it for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to Ernest Walker. I'm going to holler at you
for the moment.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that love. Shout out to my sister, too, because she supports it. She got to get one. And look, the sister got to get something. We got to send her something because she just been with us. Now it's going on now for a minute, right? So she just, and she got so many names because everything she does on.
She got to tell us who she is when she come on.
I know who she is.
Hey, fellas, this is me.
Daniel Stern died this week, the former commissioner of the NBA for like from the 80s to like the 2000s, right? He was the one who they give credit for really bringing the NBA up to where it is now. And a lot of people don't know. At one point, the NBA was like a ragtag outfit. It wasn't really what it is now. And first of all, it was nowhere near what it is now. And Roger Stern kind of brought that out.
Michael Jordan.
What's his name? David Stern?
David Stern. I'm sorry, brother. You're right. David Stern. I'm sorry.
I think Michael Jordan made it.
I get my Jews mixed up. I'm sorry.
I give a credit to the player.
You know what? But they had players because they had Kareem, they had Oscar Robertson, they had Dr. J.
Maybe he was just the one.
Maybe
he was just the face of the NBA while all this was going on. Because, like, you know, wasn't nobody in our community talking about David Stern either. It was the players that had us going for the NBA.
Right. They came up with the deals, right, with the networks.
They talk about when we was kids. When we was kids, they was already on TV.
Yeah, but that was already a package.
Well,
Because NBC didn't give him a TV deal.
What's the biopic? You ever see any of the biopics? You see the new edition biopic? You see?
Is it biopic or biopic?
Okay, whatever. Did you see the NWA biopic? There's always
you've been wondering that too.
There's the talent, but there's always that Jew, right? That's got to come and open the doors for you, because when you knock on the door as a nigga, they're not hearing you.
Right.
So I can get your music played here. I can get your music accepted here.
Okay.
Yeah, but guess what? I need. So I need a piece. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I get what you're saying. I'm just talking about from our point of view. Like I said, when we was kids, you know what I mean? The NBA blew up because of the players that we were seeing.
Yeah, but you also, as a kid, you didn't understand what marketing and promotion was.
Right, and why you were seeing it and what had to go down for you to see
what the players had us coming back to watch.
But you bought
and buying the shoe. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Bill Russell would have had you coming back to watch and buying the shoe had he had the opportunity. But it wasn't a David Stern there to get this nigga before your eyes. You see what I'm saying? So there was that, because he was playing on Boston, which was a prejudiced city and a prejudiced ass team.
10 times
even back
world
then.
champion.
11.
Is it 11?
11 times. Right. So, but guess what? They weren't making Bill Russells, right? They weren't making Bill Russell shoes. So I'm saying it got to be about a certain thing. And I'm not giving this white man all the credit, because you right, the talent. But the talent has always been us. Right. We was able to play in the Cotton Club and couldn't go in the front door.
So y'all think
they was always able to take our talent and get rich from it.
Check this out. Y'all think the NBA would have blew up if we'd have never got into the NBA, if the black basketball players never started getting in there, and we wasn't watching it? The NBA wouldn't be shit right now.
Well, I mean, in order to expand on that, I want to say that the NBA was different.
How's hockey doing?
Well, hold on. The NBA is different from a lot of professional sports, because the NBA actually did open it up to black players way earlier, and they did, and we did buy their jerseys. We did watch their games. We did support them. We went to the games because the money they made mostly then was of you coming to the arena to see the game when they're in town.
Right.
We did do that. But what my brother's saying is, when Stern looks at this and says, hey, these people in these cities love this. This is our brand. Let's go to NBC. Let's go to the cable networks. Let's go and say, let's open us up to the media. So now instead of just, now you see Lou Alcindor turn into Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Then you get a Magic Johnson, and you get your classic black and white. Black versus white.
It was definitely that. It was definitely Magic versus Bird. You know
that's what took them over the top.
Come on now, you use that.
And Stern,
they ignore it now and act like it was
Stern.
All I'm saying is maybe he was just happened to be in
office. He called lightning in a bottle.
You know what I mean? Because this shit wouldn't have been shit without us. Right. All I'm saying is we need to give ourselves this credit.
Listen, baby, I agree with you, but I'm just saying don't stop there, because wouldn't shit be shit without us?
Right, exactly. Exactly. We built this shit.
The military wouldn't be shit without us.
All that.
The internet wouldn't be shit without us. Cell phones wouldn't be shit without us. Right. Cereal wouldn't be shit without us. Right? Dancing, jewelry, handshakes, hairstyles.
So on that note, that's what I'm saying. On that note, like, they wrong for giving the credit to Stern for blowing the NBA. He just happened to be there.
Well, once again, I would say
I think it would have went to the networks no matter who was there.
I disagree. It takes somebody to have a vision. But also, I'll give Stern this, because the one thing the NBA does have right now is a collective bargaining agreement, which means they have a players union. Before him, all the commissioners would say, "You ain't got no union. You do what I say." Stern was able to even bring that in and say, well, we do have a union. Let's make this legal so that we can establish collective bargaining agreements, because once I take this to NBC and they give me a $200 million TV deal, what am I going to do with all that money?
But you don't mistake me, though, right? All I'm saying is Stern was a good slave owner.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I'm saying. Yep. He was still a goddamn slave owner, running a goddamn plantation.
But the plantation ain't shit without
the hold on, because let me tell you, cotton don't get picked by massa. You know what I'm saying? So I agree.
Yeah.
No basketball ain't being dunked by the Jews. They're not dribbling. They're not breaking ankles. And tell you this though, for the motherfucker that can afford to give this player $250 million contract or and this player a $75 million for how much is he making to be able to pay some brothers like that?
Now you count somebody else.
Well, listen, stop, because they count yours.
Yeah, well, they gave
It's called tax time.
Call your contract.
Oh, well, I thought we earned it. I thought you earned it, right? They gave it to you. I thought you gave your body and your likeness and shit, right? You sold tickets, so they got rich off your back.
Trade that in for working at Myers. We'll see who.
No, man. Here, I tell you what you can do though, because you went to college and you're super educated and everything.
You went to college.
College.
He said you went to college.
Explain Bitcoin to me.
First of all, I don't like the way you say college.
College.
So I'm not even gonna participate in this conversation.
Listen, you don't want me to call it indoctrination, do you? You got a degree.
I want you to just leave that alone.
No. Explain.
I'll talk about Bitcoin, but not Bitcoin. Behind you, kind of thing.
Well, use your fundamentals, right, and educate us all on Bitcoin.
I don't even want to talk about this shit now. Listen.
Oh, go back and listen to last week's show and understand that, you know what I'm saying?
You know what Bitcoin is? It's actually just a new wave of currency that's more electronic and digitally based than the paper and the metal, the paper and the metal currency that we've been utilizing. And there's a lot of people who understand, there's a lot of people who don't.
Explain it. I'm sorry.
I think people who don't understand it should get informed before they invest in it, because it's a lot of snake oil salesmen. They'll say, hey, invest in Bitcoin over here.
The concept. I'm asking you to explain the Bitcoin versus the credit and debt system that we have, which is not based on any gold or monetary dollars, based on somebody punching numbers in a computer, and debt is created and credit is created.
Digital.
It's all digital. So explain Bitcoin as it relates to what we already know as credit and debt.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna give you what I know about Bitcoin. I'm not a Bitcoin investor, and I've never professed to be. I have a limited understanding of it, but I think the understanding is limited unless you understand it. So if you do, 414-231 numbers. It's a digital formula, and however they weigh and balance the values of it, I'm not really up on, because I don't have any Bitcoin. And people can say, well, you don't get none, shut up. I didn't say it because I don't have none.
Well, so to my understanding, again, is credit, stop being gold that backed the dollar. It's all a made up goddamn system. That's why they had to kill Gaddafi, because Gaddafi was talking about making gold money based on something.
Offset
the U.S. dollar is based on the U.S. being able to say you got credit and you got debt, and us all honoring that system, right? So we could all honor that system from somebody else. If it was African based, if it was ghetto based, whatever it was, if it got organized, even if you're talking about bartering, or if you're talking about shit, different things. So there's a way to use that system and eliminate white people or pink devils, from it.
Yeah,
because as long as they control the game of money and your monetary, your life, and whether what you do base success or good or bad is based on a dollar that they manipulate at the typing in of some numbers, you will never win.
My sister said it's not worth anything now. She said it has nothing to do with the central bank, electronic currency. I think that.
Right. No, my whole point is the system that exists in Bitcoin is a monetary system that's based on credit and debt. It's created out of nothing. The same way that
your credit score is.
The same way that your credit score is, exactly. Right. But I was going to use what we got, the Uber. Right, and Uber and the Lyft, it was a business created out of nothing. There was no inventory, there's no stock, there were no cars, not like taxis. It was created out of nothing. So I'm saying we already have the capability to do those type of things. All we lack is the organization and unity.
Well, Ernest Walker said he just said that about Gaddafi, but see, my thing is like I said, once again, if you're an Obama groupie, before you get to
Obama's hands got blood.
He did the same thing Trump is doing.
It got blood.
We said, he caught Osama bin Laden. All those,
never seen a body.
The foreign policy, just the military's policies have not changed.
Never seen a body.
So
he said somebody came and told you that they
said they put him in the ocean.
And they said they put him in the ocean, and you believed a liar.
I didn't believe shit.
Whoever believed that
As far as
believed
I'm
the goddamn
concerned,
lie.
as far as I'm concerned, he live on Burleigh right now. There's plenty of dudes over there that look just like him.
Stop
I've
it.
been in a couple gas stations where I swear it's his.
Well, that's true. And if it wasn't, it was never.
So our show was about War Chest was about how safe are we if we're going to have aggressions against Iran? Should we now be watching these people of Arabic descent? Should we be ready for them to wild out? Because listen, per capita,
Should you be mad at Iran? No. Should you be mad at them? Are you on the side of the U.S.? They went and killed somebody that was important to their people. Are you mad at them?
well, their explanation is that he's responsible for the deaths of hundreds
But their
of US
explanation
shows.
has always been a lie. These is them same
Well, I
motherfuckers.
just
Wait.
hope they know who to go at if they going.
What was
Go
the
at them
weapons of
motherfuckers.
mass
Go to
destruction?
Washington. Go at them motherfuckers.
What wasn't the weapons of mass
That's
destruction?
what called
They told
that
us?
shit. We've been supporting you for years.
You've been living off us for years.
Right. You know what
You've
I'm
been
saying?
mooching off us for years.
You would actually have to go back. You want to talk about what they're doing with that? You go back to the Lusitania, which got us involved in World War I, which is supposedly sunk by the U.S. They call it wagging the dog. You know, we'll do some shit to make the people to spread their opinions, so we can have Congress declare an act of war. So it goes all the way back to
And
that.
they did it.
Yeah,
And it's record. And they can still do it again. And most of
well,
the population.
admitted now. Like not black people, but people say America didn't do that. But go look up the Lusitania. Go back and see a lot of the egregious things the United States government has done via global policy, like foreign policy. That's why when we look at a president, we say, well, what is his foreign policy? How does he plan to structure that? Because here's the thing that'll trip you out. All the countries that exist, all the continents that exist on this planet, how many of those countries have a base here? Now,
Versus?
maybe there'll be some that we don't know about, but I can't walk down the street and say it's a German military base.
There's not an embassy. There's not an Iranian embassy.
No, it's in New
There's
York.
not a Haitian embassy. It's not right. No, none of that. But we go in their country. We didn't set up camp. Not we. These white folks here. They didn't set up camp there.
Yeah, we got a base there. We ain't worried about that shit. You know, he said I only meant that the dollar would only be worth a nickel if Gaddafi arranged the status of yes,
The
because
dollar wouldn't even be worth a nickel.
yeah,
It would
because
be useless.
well, we got rid of the gold standard.
But they had gold. Gaddafi
Fort Knox.
was talking, but Gaddafi, no. What happened to that money in Fort Knox? What happened to that gold?
See, that's a good question because I was just watching a thing about Fort Knox the other day, and supposedly that is the biggest depository of gold on the planet.
So the day before 9/11, excuse me, and somebody even called me and said, well, it was a week before whatever, before 9/11, right? They had just announced that the United States had not been able to account for trillions and trillions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
They were gone. They didn't know where it went. Who's responsible? But before anybody was able to get angry, you know what happened the next day?
It was Juneteenth.
9/11. There was a bomb. Right. So everybody forgot about the news. So but basically they announced, go back and look it up if you don't believe me.
I've seen that though.
Right. So there were trillions of dollars that went missing. They didn't know where it was. Nobody was, and this is what pisses me off because every time you go to, some town hall meeting or you try to go to some empowerment, there's always some nigga that says, well, we need to be held more accountable. We need to hold black people responsible. But what happens to the white? Like you got, they just disappear with the money. We don't want to hold white people responsible. I'm weary of niggas that only want to hold black people responsible. Don't want to hold corporations responsible, lobbyists responsible, politicians responsible. They want to hold the bankers responsible, but just want to hold black people responsible. Be weary of niggas like that.
Let me say this to you though. That doesn't mean that as a black person, who I believe you are as well as I am, as a black man, what if I hold them accountable and I still hold my people accountable?
Listen, at least do both.
Okay.
Minimally.
I'm just saying, give me the chance to say, while I go at a black person, I do understand that what we always say, it's systemic and it's systematic.
I know.
So I will say, yeah, no, I'm not totally down on the people when they left of the line because, I understand that. But I'm saying, you're right. I do hold them accountable.
You ain't the only one. Read, nigga. But they not gonna get mad at the educational system that let him graduate through school without learning how to read. You know what I'm saying? They just wanted some money because he attended the school. We're not gonna get mad at the educators, right? Who don't have black men in educating situations and positions to teach our black children. Well, that's ridiculous.
You know what I would think? if we come to a situation where an individual can't read, I'm not angry or happy. I feel empathy. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for that individual. I'm not mad at him at all. Like, I don't look at nobody and be like, you whole ass nigga, you can't even read. I'm like, oh, bro, that's fucked up. You can't read. Look, let me check this out, man. Let me help you. I'm empathetic to an individual who can't read because I understand there's a certain set of circumstances that set that up. It just doesn't happen. It's just not like this individual to be unaware.
But we don't want to fix that.
I feel no. I say no. I'm saying from my personal perspective.
Yes, sir.
I'm not mad at him because he can't read. I ain't ribbing on him like that dumbass nigga can't even read. I'm feeling more like, bro, let me help you. Let's take this all the way back. Because if you can't read, then we gotta really.
It's people like that. People like that is the reason why he still can't read.
But the people who be like his dumb ass can't read.
But it's not,
and they mad at him instead of saying, "Let me help."
It's not just limited to literacy, right? When you talk about prison or the prison system, oh, that nigga, they need to be held, but the driving, right? Let's go to the thing. The drive.
The prison is bad because if you killed 4 or 5 people, you probably should be like.
But are most of us in prison for killing 4 or 5 motherfuckers, or are we in prison for driving infractions? Are we in prison for not having insurance?
61%. Nonviolent offenders in terms of African American.
So what you're talking about is more the exception than the rule. But again, my thing is always us being so reactive and going after the effect and not going after the cause. We want to go and we want millions of dollars to get created to find cures for cancer without spending $1 on the shit that we know creates cancer. The shit is asinine. It's backwards ass thinking, and it's some nigga shit that we always want to hold niggas accountable when we don't run shit.
Say some of us. Don't say we, because that indicates all of us.
Way too many of us, and I hear it over and over again. Every time black people get together, there's always some nigga to jump up and say that. Every time I'm there. Every single time without exception.
What I would ask that individual, because this goes back to how we always close the show, right? So if your criticism outweighs your contribution, I'd ask that individual who really spoke in the fashion that you're speaking, I say, well, low key, what you doing about it? Because if you just saying those people, them your people too, man. Listen, do you understand that if that individual can't read or write or whatever it is, not just limited to literacy, whatever it is, it increases the chances that you're going to be a victim of one of his crimes or her crimes. So however you ignore it, it might be your great nephew one day that goes down somewhere driving and just get popped, and you say, you got popped by this little dysfunctional kid.
But understand that it's cause and effect. Then you got to understand, if you don't like the ghetto and how they act, this, that, another, you got to understand redlining. You got to understand that they created the ghetto to confine you to. They got to understand within that ghetto, they give you a lack of resources. They give you a lack of fresh food.
That's why you got to hold them accountable.
But it's all designed, right? So we can't keep getting mad at the people that are victims of these situations and never hold the people that are in their suits in the air-conditioned office that they got driven to by their drivers and shit, and never hold them accountable.
Oh, you got Millie Queen riled up. She said, "Speak!" with exclamation marks. Speak, Jason. Go ahead, talk. Go talk. She don't want no Outlaw Radio hoodie. She want a Jason hoodie.
Listen, sister,
autographed.
Yeah,
autographed. Who we got? Let me check the super chat in YouTube. Okay, that's my boy Wayne. He said the programming is real. He said, "Speak on, Jason."
Yes, sir.
There you go. That's what's up. 414. I want to give y'all a chance before we get out of here. What time is it? Somebody hit me with some time. What time is it? I can't even see mine.
I got 8:54, my brother.
Okay. Like I said, we don't waste free shit for too long. So
no, we ain't wasting it though.
Well,
I enjoy being here with y'all brothers, and I enjoy talking to you.
And I love y'all. It's a labor of love, but it's damn sure a labor. 414-231-9982. 414-231-9982. You can call in this Outlaw Radio's War Chest. The original theme of the show was about how prepared are you? Do you feel safe? And one time we did a show where we talked about freedom, and we asked each other on this. I don't know if you remember this. We talked about, like, are you free?
Hell no.
Do you think you're free?
Hell no.
Well, but the answers vary, and that's when we had the octagon table.
Right,
remember?
But the right answer was hell no.
Well, my answer was don't nobody even know.
But I always tell y'all, everybody, listen. Y'all have the right to be wrong, right? You know what I'm saying? And don't be mad about that. Like, because we all are at one point or another. Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I tell you that all the time.
You say a lot of shit all the time. You never stop saying shit, y'all. I'm telling you, it's like having the good dude and the bad dude on your shoulders everywhere you go. No, man, I want to shout out to people who support us, and I want to give them a chance. That's why I say 414-231-9982 if you got something to say. Tell me about your war chest. Tell me, are you cool? If we just go over there and start bombing the Arabs, first of all, their country's not set up like ours.
Stop saying we. That's not us.
Well, okay,
Iran,
so
that ain't us. Black
right.
people, we ain't got nothing to do with that.
No, when I say we, I'm specific, like black people.
No, we not bombing nobody.
I said, are we cool with
no, we're not cool.
this? Because we pay taxes.
Yeah, no, we're not cool.
We paying for the bomb.
And we paying because we like Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Right, we pay taxes so we won't go to jail. Not because we support what they. We don't even know what the fuck they do with our taxes.
See, now when I look at my brother Ernest Walker, he talked about the reparations. I said this in the 90s. Trust me. Legalize drugs, like legalize marijuana. Let's take the revenue generated and create real social funding for people. Once again, there should be nobody. It should be, if we're gonna make $1 billion in legal marijuana revenue, people should be able to go and say, hey, I can't pay my rent here.
But you're saying that as opposed to it being illegal, where they get all the revenue and get to lock you up and get you in your body and your work,
and then you still can't get a job,
and get out and guess what? You're gonna come back, right? So
Bull got your baby mama eating herbs and fruit. She all at the Sherman Phoenix now. Bull done changed her name. Like, Shanika, get over here.
We touching lives over here.
My name is Pure
lives.
Root. My name is Pure Root now. I'm vegan.
Moonlight Goddess. How you doing, baby?
I can't help you, man. Bull done gave her some sandals, man. She out here hotepping.
Yeah.
She ain't hard, she hotepping.
Come on in, baby girl. Peace.
Sometimes you the bug, man.
Love, light, and hair.
Sometimes you are the windshield. Sometimes you smash.
Be the windshield.
And sometimes you get smashed.
Can't be both.
Right.
Be the windshield.
Right. So look, before the year of the turn, where we see now one of the going things is for people to say, let's go back to the motherland. And Ghana has this thing. I think I put it in the People's News Network. Well, I put this. There's an article about and I just read through it. But within what they said was some stuff was surprising me, in which they said that, you think you would come over here and because it's all black and this and that. And they said, no, it's still.
You light-skinned nigga, it's racism against you.
Right. Well,
not
you, period. If you're not from Ghana.
Right.
And they said Ghanans are one of the initial, because they're in the Gold Coast, they're one of the most important tribes that sold out other villages.
Mm-hmm.
And in this article, it's not my opinion, it's in this article, it said they're still that way. Like if it comes to a Chinaman or somebody else, they ain't gonna do business with you. I'm like, damn, how Milwaukee you get all the way to fucking Ghana? Or how did Ghana get to Milwaukee?
No, that's real shit. I read that shit, man, and it's real. But Ghana's not the only place. That's know. And then I'm not. Well, I was at one point. My understanding now has changed. I don't even know that we all need to go back there because a lot of us aren't from there. We're not directly from Africa. A lot of us, they reclassified and declassified a lot of Black Indians. Negroes. Mm-hmm. That's why me and you get into it. And you always talk about the Black people, and I always ask you about the Negroes. You see what I'm saying? Because they make a concerted effort to differentiate the Africans from the Negroes. When you talk about slave records, they called Africans Africans. They called Negroes Negroes. The Negro is not always from Africa.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So
I don't think we should all leave here because somebody needs to be here to claim this land because it was rightfully some of ours. You see what I'm saying? Everybody that had good hair and they tell you they got Indian in their family, someone was telling the truth.
I think and that's great that you referenced that because actually my statement is always this. I think Africans come from Africa.
Right.
I think Jamaicans come from Jamaica. I think Caribbeans come from the Caribbean.
Which all come from Africa.
I think Puerto Ricans come from Puerto Rico, and I think Mexicans come from Mexico. Therefore, I believe Black people come from America. And I think the only thing that this is just my theory, Jason. I think the only thing that America actually really uniquely created was Black people because you stripped them of everything they ever knew and you mixed in a bunch of other shit. Subjugated, alienated, ostracized, all the things you did to us. We are the true Americans. That's why I say, now I'm not, when you ask me, would I go to Ghana? No, I'm Black. I'm from America. Like if I go to Europe and they say, "Oh, you're Negro," and I say, "No, I'm from America," they're gonna say you black. If I say I'm from Africa, they're gonna say what part? If I say I'm from Kenya, they're gonna say you're Kenyan. If I say I'm from America, they're gonna say, "Oh, you're black." That's how we are globally identified as people of color from this country. And I know a lot of my people have an issue with the term black. I embrace it because I understand that there's a black we don't know because of what you did. Your system kind of destroyed my understanding of my origins. So the only origins that I can really call is I'm not putting my spit in no envelope so you can send it to the feds and then tell me, "Oh, you from Northern Africa." Now I'm walking around like I need to go to Northern Africa.
I was thinking about that question we asked the other day. You know, people don't like to be called black. What do we call ourselves as a collective?
Okay.
Right? Why not just melanated?
That's good. I like that.
How about whatever it is, and that's good, and I like that. But how about whatever it is, we come up with it.
Exactly.
We decide what we want to be called.
Melanated. That's why.
As opposed to taking the term that they gave us. So because when we take a term, come up with it.
They didn't come up with. They said nigger. We said black.
When we take
black power, the black power
when we take the term African American, we didn't come up with that. Like somebody used that, and so and many whatever we decide.
I say something good will be melanated, man, because that right there. Because that right there, that identifies us all.
But I do,
as a whole.
Millie Quinn said carbonated beans.
But wait, but I do want to talk about like because you talked about
that's the group too.
You talked about them stripping our identity from us, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't.
Because they take the knowledge of it away, don't mean it ain't able to regain that information. It's just as real because just because they took the information away from you doesn't mean it doesn't resonate in your veins. Doesn't mean it doesn't show in your lineage, and it absolutely does. So yes, they stripped it away, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So you know what? When you talk about Puerto Ricans being from Puerto Rico, well, you know what? There's Africans in lineage, there's Spaniard lineage, and so on and so. That's what makes a Puerto Rican. So a real Puerto Rican who knows that and understands that they have African lineage, and that's right, who understands their history.
Shout out to Ray Mendoza.
Listen, and listen, and again, if I'm calling, I can learn too if I'm saying something that's incorrect. Coming, people came from and how they got that way, and who came to visit your land, just like the Native Americans will understand. That a lot of those people was really black.
You have melanated people all over the world,
right? And so they all come from Africa, but we claimed a lot of these lands first, right, meaning America. So I don't think that all of us black, need to run back to Ghana because somebody needs to stay here and say, "Hey, we was here first."
Just our shit too.
Okay.
Well, I embrace black. And one of the main reasons I do is because I was raised by my mom and my dad who lived through the Jim Crow South and did sharecropping and picked cotton and went through the whole Emmett Till ordeal. And the one thing my mom would say to me in regards to that is that, look, yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff I don't know, but I'm moving forward. So what I can do as a black person is go back, and now I can go back and look that up. Mm-hmm. Now I can say, I'm going to learn how to read, and I'm going to go find out what my blackness is made of. So I've always embraced it because she said, and she also told me white people didn't give us that name. That's what she used to say. She used to say, we came up with that because my mom would say, when I was growing up in the 40s and the 50s, nobody said black unless they were militant. They said nigger, spade, cool, whatever you were. She said it wasn't until the 60s when we started saying, hey, man, we black people and we got black power and black pride. Mm-hmm. So, it's many different ways to skin a cat. You know what I mean? However you like it. I mean, like I say, some people like love from the back. Some people like love from the front.
But always understand this is never your language. And the only thing you know about the word black, the word white, the word good, the word bad in this Queen's English is what they taught you.
Right.
And they taught our grandparents and they taught them wrong. And our grandparents out of love thought they was teaching us right.
They did their
best. But they taught us wrong. And they used what they had to make it through their day, but we don't live in that day anymore. And we can correct the mistakes. And they would expect us to.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's 2 words I'm glad they taught me. Outlaw radio.
Outlaw
radio.
Outlaw.
I gotta do the foolishness. I'll bail out tonight. I'm looking at these silly
No, let them in.
Negroes.
Let them in. Let them in.
The silly Negroes, 50 Cent and French Montana,
Oh, okay.
having a social media beef about a Bugatti. I paid $1 million. Well, you got the old one. I got the $5 million, right? And both of y'all from New York. And the last report that I read about the public schools in New York indicated that they were subpar, failing at a high rate. But you two dancing squirrels want to argue about a foreign-made car, a Bugatti? Listen, there's single mothers who want to work that can't get to work because they can't afford a car. Right. They can't even afford bus fare. And because you two niggas can put some words together and make them rhyme, what an insult to our intelligence that this is. And 50, you're too old for this. Brother, at the stage you at getting these millions, you have a damaged relationship with your son. I think you should be more focused on that than arguing about, oh, you got the old Bugatti. I got the $4 million Bugatti.
I want to see niggas talking about, I opened up a grocery store. I opened up a school. I opened up a credit union. I opened up 7 of them. I did, you know what I'm saying? I stopped it. You know, I had check cash in place. Listen, go away with this bullshit. Like, let me tell you, because the fuck thing about it is we make the motherfuckers important. Right. That shit that they dealing with is not fucking real. Right. Fuck you, niggas. Why would you pay $4 million for a car that you know the fastest thing that depreciates is an automobile? I could own $1 billion and I wouldn't pay that much money for a motherfucking car or a watch or a bathtub or a haircut or whatever the fuck. Knowing that there's people out there that's hungry. Right. Like I couldn't do it. Like so go away with that dumb shit. It's what, you know, I am the hip hop snob, and it's what I call the deterioration of the culture. I really think that this is what has contributed to hip hop becoming a joke, which is what they wanted it to be in the first place. But then the energy changed and it became something that was informative to us and positive and constructive. They got in the driver's now they've dumbed it back. They got in the driver's seat of that. Right. And I ride with my son all the time, and I'm listening to the radio with him, just trying to keep my mind open. To the new, you got to be aware because they the new poets. They the new poets. It's their time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm listening, and I'm saying to him, all this don't sound the same to you? This is, and he said no, and he can differentiate, but all he is wah 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 wah, and I'm like, bro, Charlie Brown's teacher, same rhyme scheme. Everybody's robbing the plug. Everybody's sipping lean with a $10,000 belt on. Here's a tip for a rapper: if you already got a couple $1 million, you do not need for me to buy your album. That's why I will download it and bootleg it. Thank you. Rap about something else, man. Come on. I get it. You want to floss? We all want to floss. No. You know, you get a little bit of money. I get a little bit of money. We're gonna ride a clean whip somewhere. They're not allowed to though, because while we're gonna get on the rappers, we're gonna get on the young people, they are not the executives at the record labels that's signing these acts and turning down Righteous Brother that's saying some shit. They're not the ones that's rewarding the garbage. They're not, you know, being featured on Power and all that bullshit. So pay attention to who's telling the story. Yeah, I just thought it was ridiculous that these brothers, if you can represent, if you can get together, first of all, you got to understand what like even doing these startups and just being like a venture capitalist. Like instead of $4 million, you can do $500,000 and invest in 5 startups. And I guarantee you 2 of those 5, if you do it wisely, like you look at Ring and you look at Uber and you look at Facebook and you look at, these are all startups that somebody invested in who owns a majority of the stock of. And they did not start with a tangible product, with a physical product. Uber didn't have cabs and cars. Bitcoin didn't have. It starts with a fucking idea. Right. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I get upset sometimes when we talk about black people. Black people ain't ready. Fuck that bullshit. We doing this shit now. We talk the talk, the hairstyle, the dance, the hip hop, the R&B, the reggae. That's us driving that bus. So the world still follows us. We just don't know where the fuck we going. Right. So, man, I hope y'all had a good time tonight. It was Outlaw Radio. We won't be back until Wednesday. I got some things cooking in the pot. We're going to see what we can do. It better be vegan. I'll make sure I get Ernest Walker and I'm going to get Millie Queen. They're going to get these. I'm going to get this thing together. I'm going to make sure they get the stickers, sponsorships. We got all kinds of stuff coming.
down the line.
Any questions and this brother
Yeah.
not answer you because he's so busy, go to talk to teach, listen and learn. You know what I'm saying? I can handle at least 20% of y'all, right? So it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Man, it's gonna all come together like butt cheeks.
Right.
Understand, man, don't ever let anybody define you. It doesn't matter where you've been. It matters where you're at. And I always tell people this. It don't matter what they say you done. It matters that you're not who they say you are. So no matter what mistakes you've made, it's never too late to move forward. And I hope that we can all get along. But if we can't, I got guns. I'll see y'all Wednesday.
Hey.
Condo.
Hey.
Don't tell me. I should have said that around Jason. Oh, now I got him. Oh, YouTube ain't off. We always be tripping. YouTube don't even be off.
I'm talking about shit.
Right, like, where the dope at, nigga? Ain't no cocaine around this motherfucker. It's right under the table.
Your mother, fucker.